Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Warriors of Orochi 3 Ultimate. I am your host Rihanna Bahamut, and last time we saved quite a few people from their fates at Ueda Castle. Somehow this made Peng De remember something that could help us save Huang Zhong at the Battle of Ying. So let's jump right in with Team Jin, featuring Sima Zhao, his wife Yuanji, and for those who watched my last Why the Hell Do We Care, the Jin family dog Zhuge. So, basic recap and preview for this episode of Dragon Ball Z. Wang Zhong died at Ying because of a locked door we couldn't get into, and that sucks. Peng De decided to try and figure out how to fix this, and remembered that he passed by an enemy camp filled with siege weapons that could act as a good door knocker. So, we are raiding the enemy demon camp to claim their siege machines. And this level pretty much acts as the introduction to every kind of siege weapon we will be seeing throughout the game, from the catapults to the ballistas to the arbalists, and then finally the juggernauts. Hopefully we'll be able to find a nice battering ram or catapult that we can just roll on down to Ying.
それがしの記憶の通りであった。この地には妖魔軍の兵器が集められている。これならば医療へ運搬可能な兵器も見つかり申そう。そうか。閉ざされた扉を兵器で破壊できれば。しかり。さすれば必ずや甲冑殿も救えよ。必要なのは医療へ運搬可能な兵器。それらしきものを探さない。
Alright, I'm not gonna lie. This mission is kinda bland compared to anything else we have dealt with so far. The enemy is nothing but generic snake generals, and on our side it's pretty much just Peng De telling us we haven't found the right siege engine yet until the end of the mission where we find just the right one for him. The only real interesting bits are when we get attacked by new siege weapons that we haven't encountered yet. This mission is pretty much just me running up to enemy officers, hitting them a couple of times, and then hitting them with my Musou. And then being told that the weapons we are looking for are in another castle, and then running off to the next camp. So I will be editing this episode heavily to just the interesting part. The camp we just cleared out was only holding ballistas, which we saw back in the first episode. For those who don't remember, they were pretty much giant machine gun bows that did no damage against the Hydra. And across the river, we can spy our ultimate objective for the mission, the smaller wheeled catapults. Also, I'd be quite remiss if I didn't show off some more human surfing. And of course, crossing the river in any way is out of the question, so we have to take the long way through all the enemies on the map. And just up ahead we have our next set of siege weapons, the arbalists. I don't get a real good look at them here, but they are pretty much a wall that launches a bunch of arrows at us and can't turn in any way, so they aren't really much of a threat in gameplay. At the next camp we find a catapult that we need to use to open up a locked gate. Also, we found a gold scroll that only gets us a couple of levels since there are only a few archers hanging around when I picked it up. Those engineers just mentioned finding the parts of the catapult and are taking them to where we need to use it. And they will somehow have completely constructed it by the time I run over there. That looks like it would take a bit longer than a minute to build, in my opinion. Controlling the catapult works a lot like the ballista. Aim with the left stick and fire with the circle. We won't be seeing a lot of these for our use, and they pretty much just exist to bust down some doors. It's kind of funny how they actually bring up the logistics of bringing weapons like these onto a battlefield, and then promptly never mention it ever again, and it will never be an issue whenever a siege weapon is involved. This camp holds a very special kind of WTF siege weapon that I am fairly certain did not actually exist. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Juggernaut. It is a weapon that primarily only shows up in the Shu army and was supposedly designed by Zhuge Liang's wife, Ying. They are in fact a wooden tiger tank equipped with a bunch of flamethrowers, and unfortunately we don't really get to drive around in one much. While riding around in them is kinda clunky, the fact remains that I am riding around in a giant wooden fire-spitting tiger. How is this not awesome? We are also right at the end of this mission. All we gotta do is run up here and kill Diamondback, and the wheeled catapults are ours to claim. And of course I had to start the fight off right with a triple strike. I would also like to make a weird observation here. I did my best to run past most of the foot soldiers in this level, and I somehow managed to break over 700 kills. I guess just running in and masoing officers has enough area of effect to kill hundreds of men. And with that, the catapults are ours and will be sent on ahead to Yiling and will then vanish, never to be mentioned again, since these are side missions and don't really affect the plot. Now that we have cleared the Battle of Tetorigawa, the second version of Yiling is accessible. Since this is a pretty short episode, let's just jump right into Yiling 2. I am also going to be heavily editing this mission because we pretty much already did it. There are only a couple minor differences, like we start in a different location and then the catapults show up. The mission intro is also pretty much the same, just saying we came back to Yiling with catapults. Let's save Huang! So I will just go ahead and jump us right to where the big changes are. At around the point you finish off the rear guard, Peng Day pipes in, telling us that the catapults have shown up back at our starting point from the first time we did this mission. Then we gotta kill both of the officers in its path to the gate and then wait for it to get set up for us to take down the gate. Now we just gotta hop into this catapult, slowly turn it around, and then fire at the gate a couple of times, and then we're in. And apparently we had quite a bit of force behind those small rocks to cause that huge of a hole through the wall. Now we just gotta get to the center of the maze to stop Yukimura from killing Huang. Now that we have finally reached the middle of the maze, all it takes is a quick triple strike, and giving Yukimura a beatdown, and Huang has nothing to fear. From here, the mission goes on as normal, and we just have to kill Kiyomori to finish the fight. And all that work to recruit a single character. Now that we have rescued Huang, our first new scene for the Ultimate version pops up across the bridge with Huang, Madai, and some new guy we haven't seen before.
昔医療で戦った時死んでも若を逃がそうって必死だったよね。
馬長との追い生かし、人間の未来をつなぐ。あの時はそれだけを願っておった。まあ、結局はかぐやに救われたんじゃがの。
ええ、かぐや殿には感謝しなければ。皆で生き残れて。
And just like that, we got a new map and a new character. In all honesty, I appreciate the latter more than the former. The battle we just unlocked is yet another battle in Yiling, where instead of going from the bottom right to the top left of the map, we go from the top left to the bottom right as we slowly put people into their positions for the original Battle of Ying. I don't have any plans on doing that mission anytime soon, since it doesn't really add much beyond getting to see stuff we already know happened. I'm also not planning on recording the other second versions of the battles, mainly because they are almost exactly the same. The one we just did probably has the biggest variation, with the catapults showing up. Several of them are just along the lines of, this character was injured before arriving to the battle, we prevented them from getting hurt, and they just don't die in the battle, so I don't think anyone wants to watch me go through the battles again for just slightly different dialogue. I will just add the characters joining up screens to the mission that unlocks the version 2 battles. I'm Rihanna Bahamut, and I hope you will all join me again next time when we actually go to the Battle of Dongko.